I hope that's the still.
Yeah, right. Before any of you say anything, and there's no one live in the chat now, so you're probably not going to see this. What time is it? Dude, it's 15 minutes. Y'all can eat a dick. You're fine. It's 15 minutes. All right. I want to welcome everyone to the Blazing Defender Report. I'm your host, Travis Jones. I have a very special show for you guys today. I know it's Thursday. Typically the show's on Friday, but I got a very special guest, comic creator extraordinaire. Hey, when he's at CDC a few years ago, you all will be like, oh my God, he was on his show. And I'm like, hell yeah, he was. Creator of Memoirs of an Angel, Brian Rodman. What's going on, brother?
That was an epic intro. Thank you very much. It's a privilege to be here, man. I'm honored.
Awesome, man. I love it. Brian, we are at Third Turn in J-Town, Jeffersontown. It is an old church that has been renovated into a brewery. Very, very cool. We do have a group of people right beside us over there. It's backwards. Right beside us. So I hope you guys can hear. If you can't, let us know. But I got Brian with me. We're going to ask him some questions. And Brian,
all right,
with any good exercise, you got to warm up.
Okay.
You got to warm up. So we got to get our heads warmed up.
All right.
All right, so I got some rapid fire. And unlike Peter David, slow fire Peter David is what we call him now on the network. Real quick, just the first thing that comes to your mind. It's not a big deal. You may get some shit from these guys from your answers, but that's part of it.
Fantastic. All
right. All right, ready? Steak or chicken?
Chicken.
Oh, okay, I figured you steak guy. Cap or Superman?
Superman.
Whoa, okay, I'm 0 for 2 right now. Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars.
Okay, got that one right. Favorite breakfast cereal?
Oh, I'm going to be a child. Kicks.
Yes. Oh, man.
Tested mother approved.
Oh, my God.
So,
yes. Oh, you kind of showing your age there. Do they still make Kicks?
Yeah, man. I was so excited when I saw them in the store. Yeah.
Did you see his face when he said that just now? He was like, yeah, man, they make that shit.
Yeah. No, I was in the store with my wife the other day, and I was like, Kicks, they still have it. Because I hadn't really paid attention to cereal
I guess
in a
you're
long
right.
time.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we buy Raisin Bran, which my wife likes.
That's much better.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Well, much better for you.
Yes.
I mean.
Well, there's a fruit in it, if that's what you mean. Other than that, it's full of sugar too. But and I go through and I'll see Cookie Crisp and during Halloween time they had Frankenberry and Blueberry. Remember those?
Dude.
Count Chocula.
Yes. It didn't not too long ago. Jim Lee came out and did artwork for the new cereal. I'm not joking either. It was like a year or two ago.
How did I not know that?
I don't know, man. It was something random that came up on my Facebook feed a couple years ago. I was like, really?
He's like my favorite artist of all time. And you mean he did box covers?
I think so, yeah.
Holy
either that or he did like a
shit.
design of his own that he did like prints of or something. So yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
There's a box of cereal somewhere on eBay that's going for $1,000 right now, guys. Do you realize that? I love Jim Lee, but his shit's way too fucking expensive. I can't have it anymore. All right. Favorite villain? Movie, comic, literature?
The Joker.
Excellent. All right. Mjolnir or a lightsaber?
Lightsaber.
Really?
Yeah.
No, you can fly with the hammer, right?
I know, but if I have a lightsaber, then I can control the Force, and I could probably make myself fly. So, there's that.
See, this is the reason he's a comic book creator, and I just read this shit. That's the reason, because I was like, oh, you can fly with Mjolnir. I'm taking fucking Mjolnir. But that's why. Favorite historical figure?
Ooh. This is not rapid at all. Favorite historical figure.
You're still way faster than Chad Nuss was, by the way.
Okay, good. I'm glad I've got a leg up on Chad.
We all need a leg up on Chad.
That makes me happy. Favorite historical figure. Oh, I don't know. And I feel like what I'm going to say is just wrong.
What is it?
I don't know. I can't. I just blanked. Can we come back?
Yes.
All right, come
yes,
back to that
yes.
one. Come back to that
It's not rapid fire anymore.
one.
by
Yeah,
the
it's
way.
not rapid fire. Sorry
All right.
about that.
X-Men comic book related.
Uh-huh.
Grant Morrison's X-Men or Chris Claremont's X-Men?
Grant Morrison.
Wow,
Yeah.
dude!
I love Grant Morrison.
I missed every one of these almost on you. Like, I always try to figure out, like, because I did do a little research. I know you guys don't think I do that shit, but I do. And I was like, I'm doing my rapid fires, and like with Peter David, when I did rapid fires with him, Dale Keown and Todd McFarlane were two of the artists he worked with mostly.
Yeah.
And I went, Todd McFarlane or Dale Keown? And he goes, and you know, I've heard Todd McFarlane's a huge dick. Like, just to work with, he was a huge dick. He was kind of prima donna. He goes, oh, and like the only question Peter David got quickly, Todd McFarlane, any day. And I was like, really? So we came back to that and talked about Todd McFarlane, which was pretty cool. All right, Grant Morrison, we definitely got to come back to that.
All right, that's
shit.
fine.
Okay. What we're here for?
Yeah.
Memoirs of an Angel. Tell the guys. Give us a synopsis of Memoirs of an Angel.
All right. Well, the first trade specifically is about a character named Jonathan, who is on a quest for revenge, and when he goes after this witch that he's been pursuing for 6 years, it doesn't end so well for him. He gets caught up in this cosmic warfare that's been going on between angels and demons, between the physical realm and the spiritual realm over centuries. And that's pretty much that's the gist of the story.
So he gets kind of caught up in a war that he really didn't know what was going on.
Exactly,
Because
yeah.
he was hunting down a witch.
He had a sense because he was kind of a paranormal investigator in his lifetime.
Oh, that's okay. Cool.
And but he left all that behind to go pursue her because of something terrible that she did in his life.
Oh,
and
gotcha.
that will be revealed at a later date. But yeah, and he gets caught up, and we travel through time a little bit and alternate.
So it sounds like it's got a little bit of everything. In it.
Yeah, it is. It's a horror fantasy genre. So
What makes it horror? Is it the violence in the book, or more of a just like a noir take?
There's some pretty violent images in
Okay.
there, but it's also I try to make it as scary as possible
Okay.
with the demons, because with the demonic stuff, with that, I want to make it as scary as I possibly can, so that way it makes the angels look that much more tough.
Sure.
Because they are.
Right.
In the book, and so to show, I think any great hero needs a great villain.
Absolutely.
And if the villain is that sadistic, that disgusting, that just makes you turn your head, it makes the hero that much better.
Right.
And so I really wanted to captivate that. So
Cool.
that's the horror aspect of it. I've told people, who really want like a comparison, it's kind of Lord of the Rings meets The Exorcist.
Nice.
So there's that horror aspect, but the fantasy aspect
Yeah.
is, with world building and all of that kind of stuff, it's all there.
Wow, that's Lord of the Rings with The Exorcist. That's you
It's an
fucking
interesting
sold me.
combination.
Yeah. No, I mean that was great.
Yeah.
Now I've seen it, guys. You just started Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And we're going to get into how hugely successful that initial launch was. But when I go to the Kickstarter page, guys, Memoirs of an Angel, check it out. There's a video, a well-shot video of Brian discussing the book, and they're showing some images, like some images from the book, and they're fantastic. Like you look at these characters and you want to know more about these guys. Like, holy shit, that dude's badass looking. What's his deal? You know what I mean? So, to me, just loving comic books, the best thing about finding something new is the characters that grab you.
Yeah.
And visually, in a comic book format, it's always been that visual aspect for me first.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes it hasn't held me because the story sucks.
Right,
We've
yeah.
all been there, right? So, check out that Kickstarter. And since we're talking about that, checked out his page, and it's awesome.
thank you.
Frederick
Thank you
Debo,
very much.
who does the Great Superhero Debates. It's a fantastic Facebook page, guys. I'm telling you, and right now he is killing it on the San Diego Comic-Con stuff. You've got to check his page out. Thank you for that, because it does. It
Thank
looks
you.
really,
Thank you
really,
very
really, really cool. So since we're talking about the Kickstarter, tell everyone, like, when you initially launched your Kickstarter, what your goal was, and like, just tell us the experience about it.
Yeah. Well, my wife and I, she's my business partner in on this, and unfortunately she couldn't be here tonight. But we initially, the goal was $2,000 for just to kind of cover the basic printing cost, and that was really it. Like we were going to front the rest of the money.
That was to produce a trade. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
The trade, it's
because you'd already had 3 issues. Is that correct?
I had 3 issues in black and white, and then I've gone back and I've remastered everything in color, full digital, all that stuff. And the trade includes issues 1 through 4 of the series, and all in full color. And we've got some extra stuff in the back. We've got a foreword by my friend Nathan, and he's done like a lot of horror movie poster stuff, and has a really good successful career in comics as well, and in filmmaking. So the first trade is the first 4 issues, and it's called Memoirs of an Angel: The Grey Pilgrim Part 1. Because how I have it is there are 4 books with multiple volumes in each book.
Okay.
So book 1 has 2 volumes. Book 2 has probably about 8 to 10 volumes. It's going to be ridiculous. And then book 3 will have 4 volumes before so many volumes, and then it's done. Like, I have the ending planned.
Okay.
It's all it's all there. So that's just kind of how I've broken it up. So book 1 will have this trade, and then in a year or 2, it'll have the remaining issues of the book.
Okay.
So it'll be like 5 through 10.
Okay. Yeah. And you wanted the Kickstarter to produce that trade.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
We wanted the Kickstarter just to get the basic funds, just to print out the books and ship them out, and really for me as a creator, it was like we needed to be funded, sure, but
absolutely.
I really wanted to see just how many people we were reaching, how many people were in the fan base, and because when you go to Comic-Cons, we've been doing the Comic-Con circuit for 2 years,
right?
And so you meet people and you. They buy the book, and then if you're lucky, they come back the next year and buy the book. We've had plenty of good friends and family to get involved. And for me, it was just kind of this Kickstarter was to gauge, who has stayed, who is here, who is still wanting to read the book.
I never thought about a Kickstarter like that.
Yeah.
Like where's my fan base at?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because how long have you been doing Memoirs of an Angel?
Well, physically, like actually producing it since 2015.
Okay.
Yeah. So the first issue of the series in the black and white run came out in April of 2016, and then we produced the second issue 3 or 4 months later, and then 3 or 4 months later the third issue came out, and then I took a break to start remastering everything because we over a year and a half we established some pretty good readers, and I was like I got some digital tools that I could use. I got a digital drawing pad.
Oh wow!
Computer,
Okay.
all that stuff. So I was like, I really want to give people what I originally envisioned, which was full color, and I
had that wrote down because when you said you went from black and white to full color, I was curious because a lot of like horror genre kind of stuff is in black and white.
Yeah.
Because they use a lot of that, shadowing and the gray wash kind of stuff to produce that mood.
Right.
Doesn't have to be that way, of course.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it's a money thing too, correct?
Yeah.
Especially starting out.
That was really where we were. Like, I wanted to play to that tone of black and white because you're right. That gives us so much more. You feel like it's extra spooky because it's black and white.
Yeah.
And I wanted to play to that, but at the same time, later on down the road, I really wanted to just play with the color, especially when we go into the spiritual realm and things like that. I wanted you to be able to visually tell the difference between the 2 realms and have a lot of fun with it. And so I was like, well, before I go any further, I might as well go ahead and redo it and just, kind of like a soft reboot so that there's some pages that are a little bit different, but everything's pretty much the same.
Okay, cool.
It's just, it looks a lot better. And thankfully, my artwork has gotten better too over the last couple years.
Absolutely, yes.
So I finally found a place where I have a style now that, you see that, like, people that have approached me, they're like, we see this new stuff, like, we know it's yours. That's where you want to be as an artist.
That's where you want to be, exactly.
And so I feel like I'm there. I'm still going to be growing for the rest of my life in that, but, now I feel like I can represent the series really well.
Yeah, yeah. The pages I've seen are color. I'd be curious to go back and look at the black and white and see the difference. I'd really like.
Yeah, I've posted some side by sides.
Okay.
It's
cool.
really it's interesting how different, like just how far not how far I've come. That sounds super like arrogant, but like just the tools that I have available to me have been able to allow me to just make so many mistakes and then go back, because with digital stuff you can do whatever and click a button and it's gone. And so with traditional medium, like it's more, you have to be a little bit more careful, especially when you're inking. You have one slip and it's done, or you gotta work it in. So it just more freedom to make mistakes made it a better process and made me a better artist.
And if you're not, you can take more chances too. I would think. Trust me, I can't draw 2 fucking stick figures. So and if I did, I would mess one up, be really upset. But digitally, I can mess it up and just hit a button and start my new stick figure.
It gives you so much freedom, and I still like the traditional medium. I still like paper and pencil and all that, but I just, as an artist, I've been able to grow so much more.
And you'll never stop technology.
No.
So you can either stay that way and probably get passed up, or get on the train and start to become proficient. Absolutely. You know what I mean? I've always thought that. I do like the older shit too. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
But I totally understand that. Now, the Kickstarter was pretty successful.
It was. Yes, it was. It was something that we were hoping. We knew that some fans and family and friends would come out day one. What happened? We never actually expected what happened, and it was, I expected, $1,500-$1,600, and then maybe some safety net backers would come in and fill the gaps by the end of the campaign. We reached our goal, which was $2,000, 2.5 hours into day one.
2.5 hours into day one.
And so, Robin.
Now, wait a minute. Hold on. Yeah. I have to, because this is the asshole in me. So,
no.
Yeah. This is what I would be thinking. It's kind of like if you're selling a car, and you're like, a dude's like, hey, man, how much you want that car? And I go, shit, $5,000. He goes, okay.
Yeah.
And you go, shit, I should have said 7. Were you all like, oh, man, we knew we should have went $4,000?
Well, we thought about that, and just briefly though, we didn't really talk about that too much, because we were like, well, no, because 2,000 is exactly what we needed to get the good cushion to print the books, and now anything extra is just, it's helping even more, like especially with all the rewards and everything. I mean, we've now hit 3 stretch goals, so we're working toward the 4th one. We've raised over $4,000 now, so we're over 200% funded.
Wow, that's amazing, man!
So
congratulations!
Cool. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's been a really humbling and great process.
Off the air, before Brian and I started, we were talking about the Kickstarter, and he kind of, I never thought about this. I've never had a Kickstarter. Maybe I should start one, get better shit. But he was like, I wanted to see where my fan base was. Like, where are they at? Are they still there? Because, like you said, you've been doing it for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Like, are they still reading? Mm-hmm. So I thought that was interesting, and then I guess you found out pretty quickly, like, holy shit, they're still there.
Everybody showed up and then some. So
that's
really
amazing,
showed
man.
up.
That's
great,
awesome.
Yeah.
Jason and them are wanting to know what we're drinking. Jason is kind of an alcoholic connoisseur, so I'm drinking a
porter. Yeah. I got you.
Thank you. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I asked for a milk or coffee stout. They didn't have that, which is cool. But he said the porter's really good. I'm like, I'll try it. So it is. It's good.
Yeah, and I am drinking, I think it's called Pineapple Monkey. They brew it here, and it's like a blonde IPA. It's really good. Yeah.
Is it real hoppy?
It's not super hoppy.
Okay.
Like they have another one. It's called Trackside Blonde, and that is pretty hoppy. But this is not as bad.
Okay.
So,
yeah. It looks really good. That looks like refreshing.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a little bit of refreshing.
Yeah, go ahead. No, man, congratulations on that Kickstarter again, guys. Go check that out. And the cool things about Kickstarters and kind of like Patreons, like mine.
Yeah.
There's some. I've created some content. Like some videos, some behind the scenes stuff, and like I said, that video, it's what, 3 minutes maybe?
Not even.
Yeah, it may not even be that.
Yeah.
But Brian talks about the book. You get some images of the book, and it's really cool. And I was checking out the reward tiers, and you got some pretty good reward tiers there, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we've got some pretty cool stuff. We've got T-shirts and what else we have? Buttons and bookmarks and tons of prints. We had 4 really good artists, Chad being one of them, has provided their skills and talent to draw a few of the characters from the series. So that's in the reward level as well. And most of the reward levels that include prints, the backer gets to choose which print they want. So
that's cool.
Yeah, whenever we get to the shipping, date, we get closer to that. We'll send out a survey. Everybody, there's choices that people have.
That's
on
awesome.
Other things as well. So
that's because some Kickstarters don't give you that.
Right. Yeah.
They're like, this is your print, dude.
Well, like
Thanks.
a lot of Kickstarters, and I don't knock them for this because it is what it is. But like some Kickstarters, you don't get a print until a stretch goal.
That's
or
true.
like a very high reward level.
Yes, that's true.
So we really wanted to offer some pretty cool stuff because the fans that we have had a lot of that stuff, like some of the lower level things that they have already. Like people have buttons, they have bookmarks. So we wanted to offer some pretty cool stuff, for people that have stayed true and loyal.
Right. So, that's awesome. What were like? So what was your inspiration behind this whole story? Was it when you came up with this idea for Memoirs of an Angel, this story in your head? Where did it come from? Was it an event in your life? Was it you were watching Dean Winchester and Sam shoot demons on SCW? Right. Because we all love Dean and Sam,
right, man.
So I mean, where did the inspiration for the story come from?
The very beginning, actually, it has I'm a Christian, and I went to Bible college, and I was going to go into the ministry, and then God just had other ideas for me, which was totally cool, and now here I am. So that's totally fine with me. But a lot of it was just knowledge that I gained theologically, studying the Bible, just really diving deep into understanding my faith, and also looking around and seeing that your quote-unquote Christian comics, which I don't even really like using that term, they suck for the most part. I'm not trying to knock anybody's work.
Right. No,
but I mean, they're
yes.
not like, if you look at the comic book medium, they don't really provide. They don't suck. They don't provide adult readers with the material they're looking for.
Right.
Is really because like my niece, we got her the Action Bible, and it's just the Bible in comic book form. It's great for kids.
Right.
As an adult.
Right.
Not
That's
so much.
good. Yeah.
So if you're if the Bible itself is a great story anyway.
Sure.
So if you're not a religious person, you don't know where you stand on that stuff. It's still a good read if you read it that way. And so I really wanted to provide that aspect of it. Just share things that are important to me in my faith, and tell a good story.
Right.
But the roots of all that started with Blade 2.
Not where I thought that was going at all.
Yeah. So I was, my parents weren't.
This is great.
Yeah, my parents weren't like sticks in the mud or anything like that. But I wasn't allowed to watch regular movies growing up. And when I was, I think a sophomore in high school, I wrote a dissertation to just to persuade them to let me see Blade 2. Because I saw the previews. I love the comic book. He's one of my favorite Marvel characters.
Awesome. Okay.
And I was like, I want to see this movie. And Mom was like, I don't know. It's rated R. It looks pretty violent. I mean, I grew up loving monster movies and things like the old school Universal stuff.
Yeah.
I love Dracula. Love vampires. Excuse me.
Yeah.
And so I really wanted to see this. She let me. I walked out of the theater, and I thought, it would be really cool if there was a half human, half angel kind of thing, which is not anything what Memoirs is now. But my wife and I, we were going through some of my really old drawings, and we found the first drawing from my ideas and everything from Memoirs, and it was nothing like it is now. None of the angels look like people or anything like that.
Oh, really? But the original designs they didn't.
No, they don't now. The original design, it looked like Blade with a halo. and I just totally ripped it off of the character. And so it's not like any of that now, but those were the roots. That's where it started.
Okay.
So a combination of just my faith, studying why I believe what I believe, all those kind of things, and putting it into, funneling it through Blade 2 and my love for comics, and this is the product.
Wow. That's
and scary
awesome.
movies. I love scary movies.
Yeah, I love like the first Blade. I love the second Blade.
Oh, yeah.
I like Trinity, and I know don't start throwing shit at the screen. I know Trinity sucked, but I enjoyed it. I still
Ryan Reynolds
enjoyed
was
it.
really good in it.
What's that?
Ryan Reynolds was really good.
He was really.
I
What
mean, that's
isn't
pretty
Ryan
much
Reynolds really
where
good?
his Deadpool career started.
Yes, exactly.
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Being a snarky smart ass that
Exactly.
could kick your ass if you had to.
Yes.
And Jessica Biel was pretty good too. Let's not forget Jessica. But yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So was there one like story in the Bible that like was your favorite and like for that reason you drew from it, or was it just the Bible as a whole?
As a whole, but specifically the supernatural stuff. 'Cause
Okay.
like I said, I've always been drawn to that kind
Sure.
of. That's just always really interested me, which is why I love the show Supernatural, especially the first 5 seasons. Fantastic.
Eric Kripke, man, Eric Kripke.
Absolutely.
Bring him back.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Well, I think he's executive producer now.
is he still?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so. I think they brought him back like season 9 because it was, like you said, after season 5 it got a little shitty.
Well, season 6 was okay because
It was okay.
I like the idea of season 7, season 8. They were struggling.
They were struggling,
Like,
man.
I
They
still
kind of
like the
lost me for a
characters.
minute, to be honest.
Yeah. When Bobby died, I was like, all right, I'm done.
Oh,
I was like,
no.
I can't do this.
I hate it when they think, all right, has our show jumped the shark? We need to kill somebody.
Right.
Who are we going to kill?
Yeah.
We can kill Bobby, And I'm like, it was so fucking mean.
Coming from a show that titled one of their episodes "Jump the Shark,"
Yeah.
you expect something a little bit better,
Better
than
than
that.
that.
Yeah,
Yes.
So,
I know Jason is a huge Supernatural fan. Kripke in The French Mistake in season 6. I don't remember that one.
oh, I guess there's an episode that he wrote in season 6, maybe.
Probably.
I don't know.
Yeah, Kripke was the shit. Kripke wrote a fantastic comic book, by the way.
Really?
It was so fucking. Oh yeah.
Okay, I
Oh
don't know
yeah.
about this.
Okay. It was so fantastic. The name is escaping me right now. Come on, guys, help me out. You know what I'm fucking talking about. Eric Kripke. It was the. Okay, synopsis.
Okay, all right.
It was when there was he was like a middle-aged man. His wife was cheating on him and shit, and he ended up getting these pills. He ended up finding this truck full of pills that made him like. God damn it. I thought it was it. It made him like super strong, and he ended up helping this girl out, and she was like getting beat up by the mob, and he started a war with the mob, and here's this fat middle-aged man, and he's like fucking ripping heads off and shit. I mean, it was fantastic.
What is this? I need to...
Jacked. Thank you, Jason. Yes. Jacked. Yeah, Eric Kripke wrote it. Had great artwork. The artist, of course, escapes me. He was nobody that I ever knew.
Right.
But yeah, you should check it out, man.
I
It's
will,
called
man.
Jacked.
All right, I'll definitely
It was
check
my
it
pick
out.
of the week, like every week it came out, because it was so good. Yeah, Eric Kripke can. Oh, thanks. John knew it too.
Nice.
John, as soon as you seen that in the chat, you put it in. You didn't know that shit. John works for the fire department with me.
Oh, cool.
Um,
Nice.
Yeah, so yeah, Eric Kripke's fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just the Bible as a whole and
Yeah, yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
So like you say you're a comic book fan. What did you grow up read? What did you like reading? It wasn't Chris Claremont's X-Men, apparently.
No. No, actually, a lot of when I was a kid, a big part of my introduction to comics actually wasn't comics. It was animated TV shows. So like Batman the Animated Series. 'Cause I'm a
Yes.
90s kid. So I got Batman the Animated Series, X-Men the Animated
Yes.
Series, all the Justice League stuff. So through those shows, I became a huge comic book fan.
Okay.
And then I had some pivotal comics in my childhood. Like I loved the Archie Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles run.
Yes,
I loved
yes,
that run.
that was fantastic.
And the Death of Superman was
Yeah.
probably the first comic that I actually remember
Okay.
owning.
Yeah.
My friend Joe, it changed his life.
Really?
Yeah, and it didn't change my life, but I this is how much of a nerd I was. I would sit there and I had a little tape recorder and I had the Death of Superman and I would do an audio book of the comic, and looking back, I'm like, wow, that's so sad. It's like, oh my goodness, that is such a sad
That's
thing.
awesome.
So, yeah,
No,
yeah.
dude, you were kind of like, you were audible before fucking Audible was going on, dude.
Only
you
to myself though. Like, I don't even think my parents heard that stuff. Like, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's funny. I've had so many people on the show. Jay Sandlin, who's a comic book creator, who was on my show. He said the same thing. Like, his first intro to comic books was the X-Men, the '90s X-Men cartoon,
Yeah, it's a great
which
show.
I have still never seen.
Oh man.
Not one fucking episode of this cartoon have I seen. I need to watch it. I know you're all gonna start shitting on me,
Well,
and I agree.
Here's the thing with that show, the Dark Phoenix saga is amazing. In
Really?
that show. They did that. They did Apocalypse.
Yeah.
They did, Cable's in it. Oh, like they did a
Cable's
great,
in it?
dude. Yes, they did such a good job with that show. Well, that's the thing. Like looking back now, like looking at cartoons now.
Sure.
Like they're for this generation. That's totally cool. But like watching shows now and then watching the cartoons, like when I was growing up, and even in the '80s, like there's some not so kid friendly stuff in there. And,
Right.
Like,
Absolutely.
people died, and Batman the Animated people blew up, and all this kind of stuff. So it was like,
Yes.
I mean, hey, that's
Yeah.
cool with
So
me.
so it's kind of backwards what you think it would be. You would think the '90s stuff would be so G,
Yeah.
and it really wasn't. Like
No,
I'm
not at
a
all.
huge fan of the animated series, and I believe Casey Strohs is in the chat as well. Him and his girlfriend are getting ready to start a podcast, and they're going to be like watching. They're going to go through the entire Batman animated series,
Oh,
and
that's awesome.
they're gonna commentate it. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm like, dude, that's fucking fantastic.
Because like I'm 31 years old, so even now, still, that's my favorite TV show.
yeah, right.
Because it consistently was good. Like the
So
fourth
good.
season was a little more kid friendly, but
Sure.
other than that, it was fantastic.
Bruce Timm, like if it's not Bruce Timm, I don't think it's Batman.
Yeah.
The Killing Joke movie that came out at the movie theater,
Mm-hmm.
me and Big Sam, a guy I do meatheads on movies with, we went and seen it. You know, we got tickets. We went and seen a fucking cartoons movie theater. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And it was only for like 2 days. It's only showed it in theater for 2 days. And it wasn't Bruce Timm. And I fucking hated it.
Yeah.
Like, every time Batman spoke, I'm like, oh, God, this isn't Batman. You know what I mean? So that's how
I
powerful
got to
that
meet
was.
Kevin Conroy, the guy that did the voice of Batman in the animated series.
Oh, I was saying,
my
who was I
gosh.
saying?
Yeah, Bruce Timm. He created it.
He created it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
no, Kevin Conroy.
Oh,
Thank
okay,
you.
okay, I
No.
got you. Okay.
Dude, this is what you can ask him. This is what I do. I fuck shit up. I mispronounce names.
You were still right because he created.
He
the whole
created
show.
it.
He created
Yeah.
that whole animated universe.
I knew the
Yeah.
name from somewhere. No, Kevin Conroy. If it's not Kevin Conroy, I'm like, who is this? Who's this talking through Batman? Like, this is
Yeah.
bullshit.
Yeah.
So you got to meet that guy?
I got to meet him. Yeah, it was at it was this year actually. It was at
Lexington?
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis.
Yeah,
Okay.
We were both at the show. It was Saturday night, and we were both exhausted.
Sure.
Like there were like 5 people in his line at that point. Other than that, it was like packed and sold out. Like I didn't even try to get in line.
Right.
So it was Saturday evening. The line wasn't that long. I get up to him. Both of us are like eyes are bloodshot. He's like, "Hey, how?" Super nice guy. Like,
Was
even
he?
when he was really tired, he was
Yeah.
really polite and nice and like he was like, "Hey, how are you?" I was like, "I'm good," and both of us were just sitting there. But I have this, I have a book that's actually out of print now. It's called Batman Animated, and it's just a behind-the-scenes take on that
Oh, wow.
entire animated series. And he signed the front cover, and he signed it to Brian. I am Vengeance. I am the Knight. I am Batman. Kevin Conroy. And
Really?
I was on cloud 9.
Yes.
I have never like fanboyed that
Right,
hard
right.
before in my life.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
How cool is it when you meet a creator like that? Or, you know, he's a fucking star. He's a
Yeah.
legend.
Yeah, man.
And it's like, they're better than you thought they would be.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
he
like
was
so
such
cool.
a gentleman. He was so
Was he?
so nice.
And like
Yeah,
you said,
yeah.
those are long fucking days. Like even as a con goer, because
Yeah.
that's what I do. I'm a con goer, and dude, 3 hours in, I'm like, fuck, man,
Yeah.
I need to take a nap and come back, or maybe I'll just leave. And I typically leave. But yeah, that's awesome. We were at that one actually. Me and my wife, we went. I think I actually seen you there.
I think I remember you
Yeah,
stopping by.
Yeah, we stopped by for a second. But yeah, we didn't really get seen by Peter David was there.
Okay,
So I
okay.
went and talked to Peter, and
Yeah.
he was actually cooler.
Was he cranky?
No, he wasn't cranky because he was air conditioned. His fat ass was sitting down.
That's so important.
It is really so important. Well, you do a lot of sitting at those cons.
Yeah,
I don't
man,
think he
yeah.
ever gets up. Who is that? Oh, Marcos. What's up, Marcos, man? Yeah, talking to Brian, man. Where you been at, dude? You missed the best part, dude. You missed the meat. You gotta go back. You gotta rewatch.
That's the beauty of Facebook, though.
That's the beauty of Facebook. It'll fucking be there, man. It'll be there. Man, that's dude. Now I really want to meet Kevin Conroy.
He'll actually be at Louisville SuperCon because they're doing like a little mini Batman the Animated. Are you not gonna be there?
No, I'm going now.
Oh, okay. All
yeah,
right.
No, I'm going now.
I thought like maybe you were out of town.
No.
Yeah, man, he'll be there, and then a couple other people that did voices with the animated series were there. He'll be there as well.
Awesome,
so, yeah.
Awesome. Oh, this was kind of stupid. I'm looking at my notes and I have a beer in. I'm like, that's kind of fucking dumb. But there was a podcasting group that I was a part of, and like people would ask me all the time. Like there was a guy earlier when I was setting up my shit. He just kind of hovered over us for a minute and was like, "It's like, what's up, man?" He was like, "Oh, nothing. Checking out your setup."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, that's cool." Like it's the least money can buy.
And honestly, like I was thinking when he walked by, I was like, "He kind of looks like a kind of a chubbier Ron Swanson, a little bit." Like
yes.
Absolutely no
yes.
disrespect at all.
No.
That was what he looked like.
You're right.
Like,
I didn't get
yourself,
that,
man. Good job. Yeah.
But I was waiting for him to ask me a question, but he never did. But people act like there's actually I thought she'd be here tonight for this group over here. She's a paramedic. I'm really getting off fucking topic, sorry. But she sent me a Facebook message wanting to know because she's thinking about doing a podcast. I assume it's EMS related. I don't know. But she was like, I want to bounce some ideas off him and everything. So my point is like when I used to start my Facebook show before I actually started the show, it'd be kind of behind the scenes thing, and I would show people what I was using and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So with Chad, I always did this. With you breaking into the industry right now,
Yeah.
What kind of advice would you give, like someone who's out there right now, who's like, man, like I'm a decent artist, I got some great ideas. How do I get into the industry? How do I get my number one whatever on paper and in people's hands?
Yeah. A couple things. One, and it is as simple as it sounds and as difficult as it sounds. Just do it.
Right.
Like,
sit down and do it.
Sit down and do it. In the digital age, if you have the means, start it as a webcomic. It doesn't cost you. It costs you a domain.
It's great advice.
That's it. Like it's not a whole lot of money.
So you're basically saying you digitally do it and then you upload it to
your website. And like Wix.com, they have free websites that you can create.
Wix.com.
Wix.com.
Oh,
yeah,
Wix.com. Okay.
And they're really helpful.
Wow.
Just some really basic stuff. And then there's some really good tools like a guy that has been really helpful to me. His name's Dirk Manning.
Okay.
And he has a book out called Right or Wrong, WIRTE, and it is essentially his in and outs of how to break into the industry. I read that when I first, before I even started.
Oh, wow.
And his big focus, his big push, which I completely agree, is work on your fan base. Put out your material, put out your product, and build the fan base. Take a few years. Don't just
sure.
And stay with it. I think that's the big thing because we've learned, my wife and I, we go to as many shows as we can, and
Absolutely.
we've learned that the people that stay around the longest get the fan base, because your first time at a show, you may get nothing.
Right.
But if you go back, people see that you're there again, and the more you're there, the more that they will, be interested and know that you're consistent, that you're going to come back. Because so many independent creators, for whatever reason, life happens, or they don't get the results that they want. They do 1-2 issues and then they're done.
Right.
And you never see them again. So a lot of readers, they want something they can invest in. They want to know that creator is going to stay around. And sadly, it takes a while, for you to do that. That's why I say do a webcomic, because it's cheaper than what we did. We just put a ton of money because we had the means. We put money into it at first and just hope it paid off, and it has.
Good.
That's great. But it took us a while.
Sure.
And it's still going to take us a while to get even further.
Right. That's great advice. That's good shit. I had no idea that you could do that stuff. So that's cool. what would you say has been like your okay? Brian today is we got the time stone and the Infinity Gauntlet. We're going back to Brian 5 years ago, and Brian's sitting down with his pencil and paper, drawing his very human-like demons, and then he goes, "Hey, young Brian, make sure you do what?
Keep researching
Researching
the topic that you want to produce,
like story-wise. You mean?
Because, like you said earlier, the artwork can only get you so far.
Absolutely.
So, like, you can have really great looking comic, but if there's no substance, if there's no story, if you don't really know where this is going, then it can fall apart, and you'll lose readers.
I have, and you guys know this. Typically my show is like I review comics. I buy comics every week. I talk about them. I tell you what's great, what's not, what I think is worth your money, what you can pass on. And if I start with a book, if I start with the number one, I'll stay with the 3 issues. You have to grab me. It's so competitive now. Comic books are so expensive. You have to get me invested in 3 issues. If not, you're out of my pools, and it may pick up down the road, and somebody go, "Oh my God, that second story arc of this was fantastic." Now I'm gonna go back and check it out online, probably.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, you got to hook me with the story. And every time because me and other creators have had this conversation, and my mind always goes back to, and you may be a little young for this.
Oh, okay.
You may be a little young.
All right.
You might be a little young for this young buck. So let Grandpa tell you a story.
Lay me down with your wisdom.
All right, Grandpa gonna tell you a story about the creation of Image Comics.
Oh, here we go.
Do you remember this?
I was like 6.
Oh my God! Fucking 6? Are you kidding me?
What was that? 93?
Fuck, man, I don't know. I'm too old to know
I think
that.
I was in like kindergarten. Yeah.
Oh my God!
Don't feel bad.
I was a junior in college in '93. Anyway, so all these super artists from Marvel were pissed off about not making money and getting character rights and all that. Rightly so, I agree. They all said, "Fuck you, we're going to go and we're going to make our own comic group, or our own comic company." And they did. And they drew, illustrated, and wrote a lot of their own shit. It was crap. It was awful. The only thing I can even remember, and you guys chime in and you tell me what you think, you might already be. You're not influenced by Spawn. No. I was born in '93. Robin, that's your wife.
Yeah.
You're young too, Robin. You're young too. Yeah, you were born in '93. Oh my God.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, so I remember going and getting these Image comic books, all these number ones, Savage Dragon, Spawn, Wildcats. That was Jim Lee's, Wildcats.
Yeah.
You remember Wildcats?
There was a cartoon.
There was a cartoon,
yes. Yeah.
And Wildcats was actually the only one that really stood out to me. Savage Dragon, which was the guy that can't draw feet.
Oh, Rob
Liefeld.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
thank you. Yes, Rob Liefeld. Shadowhawk, which was it George Perez? Maybe George Perez.
Yeah, I think that was George Perez.
That was decent, but I mean, like, I remember going, oh my God, page so beautiful, oh my God. Second issue, I'm like, yeah, it's pretty nice to look at.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a cool scene. Yeah, what? Okay, he's dead. I really don't care that he's dead. And it's just, and then that's when I realized that I guess I was maybe I was getting older, right? I wasn't a fucking kid that was just needed picture books. I kind of still do, don't get me wrong. But it was like, oh my God, this sucks. Mm-hmm. I need fucking story.
Well, and the thing with that is, like, if every single page or every other page is a splash page and it's this 2-page spread,
It's too much.
you get numb to it.
Numb.
And you're like...
Desensitized,
Yeah,
yes.
you're like, okay, that's cool. Just like every other page on here. Where's the story?
Right.
So,
And then it's like anything else with artists nowadays, especially the great artists. they get behind, or if they're not behind, you wish they were behind because they're putting out subpar work.
Yeah.
So
you
yeah.
wish they were behind.
What's that?
Just get busy with something else. What wasting my time?
Yeah. So yeah, Image Comics, man. Every time we talk about like just beautiful artwork, I'm like, man, I've seen it. I've seen it happen before, and it's you really have to have both, and that's what makes like other than like a novel, which totally different thing, right? Totally different medium. Comic, like when you get it's peanut butter and fucking jelly, man. When you get that artwork and that fucking story, and then you get the splash page of the dude that you've been wanting to get his fucking head knocked off for 12 issues, he finally does, and it looks beautiful. Yeah. It's satisfying. It's sex, man. It's fucking nerd. It's nerdgasm, dude. I'm telling you, it's the best thing, and it's what's hooked me. My dad was reading comics to me before I could read.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Chris Claremont's X-Men.
Yeah, there you go.
Like Wolverine, like maybe, I was 4 or 5. Probably Wolverine shouldn't have been my hero, but he was. He's drinking beer, he's killing people, he's smoking cigars.
That's a hero I can get behind.
That's a hero you can get behind.
Exactly.
He's hairy. So, just fight anybody. I loved Wolverine when I was a kid. So, and it's kind of stayed with me, obviously. But you were talking about the Christian comic books. It made me think of something else. I'm fucking all over the place right now. But that's the reason I started this show.
Really?
Yeah, I tore my bicep, and I was unable to work.
Yeah.
I told my wife, which luckily I'm at a job where I still get paid, even though if I'm not there or not.
Right, yeah.
So I told my wife, I was like, I wanted to do a fire department podcast. It was when me and the guys started talking about our content, I was like, holy shit, we can't do this. Like, we're going to get in trouble.
Yeah.
So we didn't, and I told her, I was like, I'm going to do something. And all the comic book podcasts that I listen to, no disrespect, I'm not going to say they suck, like Brian said, all the Christian books suck. I was not as polite as I could have been, my bad. No. I'll say that they didn't entertain me. And it was a Marvel podcast, it was a DC podcast, or an Image podcast. Whatever the books they had out were fucking great. Yeah. And I was reading those books, and I was listening going, no, it wasn't. That was shit. That was bullshit. Yeah. And why was it late? And why the artwork looked rushed? And why is this guy doing this? And blah, blah, blah. So I thought, you know what? I buy comic books every week. I'm going to tell people. My whole goal was to get people back into comic shops.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's kind of, they're kind of in that early death throes of the Walden books, the bookstores.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And a lot of it's digital now, and now Walmart's starting to produce comic books. DC's got an exclusive thing with Walmart. Mm-hmm. I see 10 years down the road.
Yeah.
Yes, I see but people love the movies and everything, and I'm like, this is where it came from, man. Yeah. Like, you want to know more about Spider-Man, Black Panther, Wasp, fucking Ant-Man? Dude, come here. Go to the Zone Comic Shop. Go to Comic Book World. Go to Heroes and Games.
Yeah.
Heroes and Games. Go there. And dude, there's a fucking world for you to
we have like 5 or 6 comic book stores in the city.
Yes.
Yeah, like it's crazy because you go like a lot of cities, especially even like medium-sized cities like New York, I'm sure has a ton. But like I'm surprised at how many we actually have.
Yes, and it's funny because this was one of my topics on the last show was the Walmart DC exclusive thing.
Yeah.
And it's it's not a big deal right now. But what if Walmart decide, we'll call Diamond and we'll start Comic Book Rack.
Yeah.
It's going to push all the little guys out, and it's that easy, and it could happen that easily.
Well, it's also GameStop too.
That's what somebody said in the chat last week, because I had no idea about that.
Yeah, I was shocked.
But Marcos, which I think he's from Michigan, he's upstate Michigan, if I'm correct. He was saying that there's no comic shops around him.
Yeah.
Like, and you're right. We've got at least 4
or 5.
At least 4 or 5 I can think of. Yeah. And then we got some of our sales in Lexington, which aren't that far of a drive.
Right.
But so it's I just, man, whenever I did something good at home or on the field, my dad took me to Great Escape.
Yeah.
The Great Escape was
Yeah.
where I got to go. You
Yeah.
know, like that was like one of the first ones around Louisville. Still one of the oldest, I think. And I just remember that was like, oh my god.
Oh yeah, well that was a pivotal part of my childhood too. You know, the comic books that I did get, like there was that old store. It was in the South End, right off Southern Parkway.
Okay.
And it was called Potato
Man.
Yes. and we went there every Saturday.
Did
that was
you
the
really?
Thing. My dad and I went.
Okay,
every
cool.
single Saturday.
So now does your dad read also?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he would be sad that I said Superman instead of Captain America. He loves Captain America.
That's my favorite,
and
man.
Sergeant Fury.
Yes.
And the Howling Commandos.
Yes.
That's his thing, man. So,
Wow. Yeah, that is old school.
Yeah.
Because my dad used to read that also, and that and Sergeant Rock.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, like Sergeant Rock.
Yeah.
And this is what my dad said they would do. He said you'd be riding in the car, you would read a comic book, and you throw it away.
Wow.
You fucking throw it away.
Ooh, that kind of hurts me.
Oh,
that doesn't kind of hurt me.
crushes my soul.
Yeah, very much so. Oh gosh.
Because can you imagine? I mean,
Dude.
nobody knew. You know, 50 years
Yeah.
later, 60 years later, that oh my God, you just threw the Amazing Adventures
Well,
#1 away.
That's where comic books like almost took like a huge hit in the 90s,
90s.
too, because everybody Marvel was like, we're gonna print 300 of this issue,
Exactly.
300 covers of this issue, and people were like, oh well, I gotta
have
buy
every
all
issue.
of them because
Sure.
it's gonna get me through college. It's gonna get my kids. The only reason that they were valuable, the old ones were valuable, because they didn't make that many.
Nobody. There's
They were
low
super
print
rare.
run.
Yeah.
That's the reason. Like I buy a lot of indie #1s. Like I don't even give a shit what it looks like. If Rick Remender or Robert Kirkman or anybody like any of like the big creators, they got a small indie run #1, I buy it.
Yeah.
Even if it sucks, because if it's the next AMC hit,
Right.
I'm
right.
putting it in a pool.
Well, that's the thing. Like, and I mean, we're an indie creative team in a pool of thousands upon thousands
Sure.
of indie creators. But we're not going to do the series in black and white anymore. So the limited run that we did of the first 3 issues, that's it. So if you are a collector and you think this might go somewhere, that's something to think about. So shameless plug.
Yeah. Not so shameless, I
not so
don't
shameless,
think.
but,
No, that's a great. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. And because like you said, you go to these cons too, and Monty. I know Monty just got in the chat. I know he goes to some cons. You see all these, like you said, these small creators.
Right,
these guys that had Kickstarters that got their books going,
Yep.
and you're like. I always wonder, and I'm a fan of the genre. I mean, I'm just a fan of the industry, and I want all of them to be the next AMC hit.
Right,
I want them all to be the next big movie. And I look at every one of them, and I'm like, am I gonna 10 years down the road? Am I gonna be like, holy shit, I remember that guy? You know what I mean? Memoirs of an Angel. Oh my God, I got picked up by Universal. What the fuck?
Oh, that'd
It's
be
on
insane.
Netflix.
That'd be
What?
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You
Yeah.
never know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I read books all the time, and I can so see like Gideon Falls and books like that. Like, do you know about Gideon Falls? Oh my God.
I've heard of it, but I
Oh
don't
my
know
God.
too much about it.
You're motherfucker. I'm telling you right now, you being a horror guy, please check out Gideon Falls.
Okay, all right.
You're going to fucking love it. I'm reading I'll read a lot in the bathroom. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of us do.
Yeah.
I'll admit it. And I'm like, and then my wife will do something in the next room, make a noise, and I'm like, God. They got him on the toilet because it would have been a mess. Because Gideon Falls is fucking scary as shit.
All right.
And
I'll check it out, man.
Adrian Sorrento does the art. I mean, to me, he's one of the top 3 guys in the industry right now.
Yeah.
And when he's doing horror, he's number fucking 1.
All right.
Please check it out. I'd love to know
will
what
check
you
it
think
out.
about
Absolutely.
it. Sacred Creatures. Yeah, that's a great one, Jason. Sacred Creatures is another one you should check out because of that supernatural element you talk about and the biblical aspect.
Yeah.
These guys are basically correct me if I'm wrong, Jason, because the second issue just came. No, that was Magic Order. They're on 7, I believe. Sacred Creatures, but they're greed, gluttony.
Yes. I've seen it.
Okay.
I haven't read it yet, but I've seen it.
Please
around.
check that out, because
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's a trade out, and because I know like on View Comic there was like 6 or 7 issues already.
Right, yeah.
So you would really like that too.
Yeah, I
if you
did.
like that.
I know you mentioned the Magic Order. I read the first issue. I picked the second issue up. Hadn't had a chance to read it yet.
Yeah, it
But-
came out this week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I seen that.
Man, the first issue is pretty freaking good, dude.
I think it was my pick of the week. It was either that or Weatherman was my pick of the week the week that #1 Magic Order came out.
Yeah.
I'm a big Mark Millar fan.
I am too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest and to be totally transparent, Mark hasn't done it in a while.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, Huck was pretty good, but he really I used to love his shit. And then he got kind of, I don't know, because Hollywood was buying all his properties up, and he was like, fuck it.
He has a big deal with him now.
Yes,
So,
yeah,
so,
he's got
they're
it.
doing,
The
3
Millar
TV
world.
shows. Yeah.
That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
But dude, when I read that #1 Magic Order, I was like, oh my god, Millar's back.
Yeah.
Miller. How
I
the fuck
think
you
it's
say it?
Miller. I went through this too because somebody corrected me. I was like, I don't know if you're right. So I officially looked it up. It is officially Miller.
It is Miller.
It's Miller. It's a
Okay.
different way to spell
All right.
it. Yeah.
Well, the Welsh can't spell their own last names. What's wrong with them,
Spell it
man?
right. Come
William
on.
Wallace would be fucking so mad at y'all. So Mark Miller,
Yeah.
fantastic. That's a fucking great book, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just essentially Harry Potter for adults.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
that's what it is.
Do you watch much TV?
When I can.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, you don't have much. You don't have a lot of time. I do. So I watch a lot of TV.
Yeah.
Have you seen The Magicians on Sci-Fi?
I have seen clips here and there. I haven't been able to sit down and watch like a full season
So
or anything,
good.
but I've heard really good things.
You like it?
My buddy Brent loves. I think he's read all the books.
Oh, really?
And he loves.
Okay.
Loves the show.
Yeah, I've yet to meet someone that has read the books. I always see that in the
Yeah, I think
beginning
there's like
credits.
3 books, maybe.
Is there?
Yeah, and then they just based the TV show off.
So
of
he had
that-
read the
that
books
world.
before he watched the show,
Yeah,
I guess?
yeah.
So I guess and he's happy with both.
Yeah.
Okay,
'cause,
good.
I mean, they're doing like a Game of Thrones kind of thing.
Sure,
Like,
sure.
I think the first couple seasons were really close. How many seasons are out right now?
I believe I think they're going to 4.
This is 4. Okay, so like the first couple seasons were very close to the books, and then now they're venturing
out a little bit.
doing their own thing.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Love it. When there was this, they needed to break this spell, and there was a Minotaur, and he was a total dick. He was like a god in this fairy dimension, and he's like, oh, you want to break the spell? That's easy. You just got to drink this. And first he walks in the woods and comes out, and he's got this mug, and it's like this, looks like mayonnaise running out of it. He basically jerked off in a mug, and to break this spell on this chick, she had to drink this mug of jizz, Minotaur jizz.
nasty.
Yes. When you said this what got me on this subject. When you said Harry Potter for adults, I was like, holy shit, that's Magicians, dude. That is so Magicians. Yeah, man, that's great. I wanna before we wrap this up, I want to get to this Grant Morrison X-Men thing.
Okay.
Because I was actually reading an article today, and that's where this question came from.
Uh-huh.
It was the top 5 greatest X-Men writers of all time.
Okay.
And Chris Claremont was number 1, by the way.
Yeah.
Grant Morrison was second. And I was surprised by that because I always hear negative things about that run with the leather and you know what I mean, all that.
Yeah, he kind of took what the movie did and kind of threw a little more comic book style.
Now
into
did that come before the movies?
I want to say it came after the first X-Men movie, I think.
Okay.
Or maybe not. I
I always
remember.
thought that's where the movies got that look
That
from
might
was
be-
Morrison.
that might be right.
Maybe.
can't
I don't know.
remember,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's probably pretty close.
I mean, when I read it, I didn't. It was a while.
Okay.
After it came
So
out.
what I want to ask you is what about that run did you like?
I want to say it's been a while since I've read it, so I need to reread it again. But
Well,
I
no,
think a big part of it is Grant Morrison is so good at world building.
Yes.
And so, if you want to know, everything in his comics, everything in his world that he builds, has a reason. It makes sense, and there's no he did this, and he can't do this because of reasons. You know, like you don't know. Like Grant Morrison is just really good
He is.
at building a world and sticking to it.
He is, and I will tell you this. I do like some of Grant Morrison stuff, and I like. He's kind of like not so much Remender, but Hickman in the fact that it may take him a minute to get going, but he does.
Yeah.
And his stories always wrap up pretty well.
Yeah.
His Batman run is what got me a little upset with him.
Yeah.
I was just kind of fucking all over the place. I think Grant Morrison does a lot of drugs, which I'm fine.
Well, interesting fact about Grant Morrison. Apparently, he's like a self-proclaimed like warlock. I'm not kidding. It's a thing. You should totally listen to an interview of him talking about it. It is out there, man. Like it is like
Holy
seriously.
shit.
Like if you're into like supernatural stuff, him, Alan Moore, both of them. They're both like
I know Alan Moore is like
wizards.
Really?
Like, they are. Yeah, that's their thing, man. And it's interesting.
That
to hear
is
them talk
interesting.
about.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah.
That explains a lot, actually.
Yes. yeah. So when you know that's where he's coming from, you're like, okay, so this is why you write. Why you write?
I get that. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
But now he did have like one of the coolest ideas about Batman, which is not easy to do, by the way, because of all the great creators that have been on it. But he actually had when Darkseid killed him with the beams.
Yeah.
There was the anti-life equation, all that shit. It gets way out there, but Batman had, of course, predicted that someone would attack him psychically. So he had another personality in his psyche that if he was ever attacked, and it was called like Inzarur or something like that. It was like backwards or something. I can't remember what it was.
Which
It's
only
killed him.
Batman could do something.
Only Batman could do something like that.
Like he's essentially Sherlock as a superhero.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's fucking 10 steps ahead of
Crazy,
everyone.
yes.
I know. I love it's like so. Are you a Batman fan? Would
I
you
love
say?
Batman.
Yeah.
Batman is my favorite superhero.
Is he?
Period. Yeah.
Man, I tell you, I really go back and forth.
Really?
I'm like kind of like your dad.
Uh-huh.
I'm a huge Captain America fan, and a lot of that reason is because of Mark Miller.
Okay.
His Ultimates run,
Yeah.
didn't make Cap a pussy no more. Cap wasn't a pussy no more. He was a soldier. He's ex-Army Ranger.
Yeah.
He'll fuck you up if he has to. Don't want to, but well.
He's a gentleman and a warrior.
And a warrior.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm a big Captain America fan, and of course Ed Brubaker's run made me a bigger Captain America fan, and Bucky fan for that matter. But it's like, man, I read like I'm reading Tom King's Batman right now, and I fucking love it. And you would hate his Joker. I hate his Joker.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What's
yes,
going on?
yes,
What's wrong with it?
I think Tom King is like really trying to jack up the creep factor on him and make him like this not so funny comedian that he only laughs at his own shit kind of deal. And what I don't like is that he gets the drop on Batman in certain instances, and it's almost, I don't like his Joker at all, but even the interaction with Batman and Joker, it's so like forced, and Joker's always telling these jokes, and it's like, you get it, he's a sociopath, you get it. But
is it kind of like how like Spider-Man always has to have the one-liner when he's fighting? Is it like a bad version of that?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I feel like. And I love Tom King. I've said this. He is the best writer ever on Batman. He has made character-defining moments, and some of them were with the Joker.
Yeah.
War jokes and riddles. We have all talked about this. It was fantastic. When I won't spoil it, but I will. Joker actually saves Batman from killing somebody because he tells him, "You can't be Batman if you do that." What? And it's you're like, whoa! Yeah, it was mind-blowing.
Now I have to go find this issue.
Yes. Casey Stroh's, he's a big Batman fan.
Yeah.
We did a best of 2017 show together, and I was talking about, I'm like, dude, he was like, well, I haven't read it, but I'm like, well, I'm going to tell you what sold me.
Right.
And I told him that storyline, he was like, I got to go get it.
Yeah.
And it was like, and it was just so well written where, and as a writer, you know this, like, you're building like it's a rising action, right? You're getting to the climax. And I love it when it ends on this page and I have to turn this page.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
You know, it's
that is one of the
job.
best feelings that you don't have in any other medium.
Exactly.
Is that turning the page and the big reveal is
Right.
just punches you in the face. Because
Right.
with a novel, you got to search for it. You got
Yeah,
to
search
continue
for it.
reading it.
Yeah.
With a comic, you turn the page
And it hits you in the
holy,
face.
especially if it's like a beautiful 2-page spread. that's been
Exactly.
building. Oh, it's great.
Yes.
Yeah.
This was like a 2-panel page, and you're like, I mean, you're rereading it and rereading it because you just can't believe what you just fucking read.
Yeah.
So it was that good, and it was the Joker.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I don't like his Joker, but he made him a very integral part of the story. Kite Man.
Oh yeah, yes,
Kite
yes.
Man.
I
mean,
read that.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
yeah.
if you'd
the fact that you could take Kite Man and make
elevate him.
Yeah, and make him
relevant,
that good.
Yes.
You're like,
yes.
what?
Who is this guy? Yeah. Well, I mean, he was ex-CIA analyst and everything. He's probably a pretty sharp cat.
Yeah.
And he's done some things I haven't liked too, but that's another story. But Batman. I mean, it's like, he could be anybody. You know what I mean? Like,
so who was your favorite? That was your favorite Batman writer? Is that what you said?
he's my favorite Batman writer.
Okay.
Yes, Tom King. I've always said that Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo
Yes.
were the two. They were the dynamic duo. And me and Big Sam in Cincinnati, we got to meet them. We got to do their VIP experience.
Oh, cool.
Yes,
Cool.
it was so cool, man. Greg Capullo, man. He's like a metalhead.
Yes.
And he had these stories about Rock on the Range, which was funny because Rock on the Range is in Columbus, Ohio. We were in Cincinnati. And he's talking about, oh yeah, I've been here. I came to Rock at the Range, and I'm going,
Wrong place.
man, I'm glad these nerds don't listen to metal because they would probably eat you alive right now. But he had some great stories about it. But we got to talk to him, and like it was weird. Obviously, I'm a fucking talker. Yeah. But I mean, we were in line, and like no one's, everybody's getting their shit signed, right?
Yeah.
They pull out their suitcase and open their shit up.
Right,
I think they got to sign. We got to get like 10 things signed, which was a lot.
Nice.
Yeah, it was real nice.
Yeah.
So they're signing all this stuff, and no one's really talking to him. So, and Scott Snyder, man, if you've ever heard Scott Snyder has some issues. Like, I think he's a fantastic dude. But he's got some pain. And he's been through some shit, and it's very hard on him when he gets criticism for something that doesn't work.
Really?
Yes, like you can see, like it really bothers him, and that's got to be a horribly tough spot to be in.
Yeah.
So, and Greg's kind of like, Greg had a funny story. He was like, something didn't go over real well, so I'm talking to Scott, and Scott's like, so man, what do you do, man, when like people don't like your stuff? And Greg goes, yeah, man, that kind of sucks for you. And Scott's like, motherfucker, fucking, you don't ever get it.
Yeah.
And Greg doesn't, because he's always good.
Yeah.
Like, even bad Greg
Everybody
Capullo's
loves his
better
stuff.
than a lot of guys in the industry.
Yeah.
So he never gets it. It was hilarious because they're both laughing about it. So anyway, I tell him, I'm like, hey guys, just want to let you know, me and Big Sam Bo, we think you two guys, you're the dynamic duo. You're, of all the Batman creators, of all the artists, all the writers, no one has been as good as you two.
Yeah.
And Scott Snyder got up. I thought the motherfucker was going to hug me, which would have been awesome.
Right.
And he was like, dude, thank you for that. And like, he stuck his hand out. I'm like, yeah, man, thank you. You made Batman one of my favorite characters.
You made Scott Snyder's day.
I did, I think I did.
That's so
And
cool.
the auditorium was packed, and I think I did.
Yeah.
And then Greg was like, where's my wife at? My wife needs to hear this shit. She don't ever hear this shit. Like Greg, he's a trip, man. But and Greg considers himself a tough guy. And I'm 250. Sam's 270, 6'3", 270. He wasn't gonna be too tough around us, and I think he knew that because he was kind of like, how much more shit you got in that bag? You know what I mean? And he was like, when he was signing our stuff, he was like, is that all you got? You got anything else you want to sign? It's like, you signed my boob, Greg. And Greg was like, I'll sign your fucking tit. I don't care. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Cons are great, man.
Cons
You get
are
to
awesome.
like your Conroy story. I mean, like, I hear shit like that, and I'm like, fuck, man. When's the next fucking con? Like I'm ready to go.
It's always like the beginning of Sunday, I'm like, oh gosh, I'm so tired. And then the end of Sunday, I'm like, oh, I don't want this to end.
Right.
It's like, I just want to keep doing this.
So when you go, because Brian goes to a lot of these cons. I've seen Brian at several. So, like, do you get to enjoy it at all?
Yeah. I mean, Robin and I take shifts.
Okay.
Actually, it's funny. It's a funny thing because if we're having like a lull and nobody's coming to the table, I will leave. and usually someone will come buy something. That's just how it works.
Why do you think that is?
I think because my wife is beautiful.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna like seriously,
Shameless plug.
No, yeah, hey, and I'm being silly, but I actually kind of mean it practically because like you got a huge arena full of nerds, very pretty lady, at a comic book booth
By herself. And not this huge bearded Viking standing beside
it's
her.
like, you know, they walk up there like they're scared of me.
Yeah,
like,
of
you know,
course
they're, like,
they are.
Trying to stand up the side, I'm like, hi, and then, you know, but like, you know, Robin's really sweet, really nice. And so yeah, I don't know if that's it or not, but
I think that's perfect.
We joke around. We joke around all the time. It's like, all right, well, I'm gonna go to the restroom, walk around a little bit. By the time I get back, you'll probably have sold $5. So yeah,
that's an excellent idea.
Yeah.
Okay, Jason was responding to the Joker. He makes him a full-blown nihilist, and that's true.
Oh,
He really
okay.
does.
Gotcha.
Like, whereas more of a Joker is like a chaos-driven.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this Joker's just fucking nihilist. He wants to kill everybody.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good point, Jason. I just now seen it.
I think my favorite Joker story.
Yes, because Joker's your favorite villain.
Yeah, I think my favorite Joker story was Death of the Family. I think that probably has
Hard
to
to
be.
beat.
Yeah, when he takes down or when he shuts all the lights off at the police department, that is one of the creepiest comic book experiences I have ever had. When he's just standing there in the doorway and his face is in shadow,
Yes.
and like, oh gosh, please don't kill me through the page.
Right.
Yeah, and that's why I say the only team that could compete with Capullo and
Snyder
is potentially Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale.
I agree.
With the Long Halloween
I agree.
and Dark Victory.
Yes.
Because those books, Long Halloween is probably my favorite Batman
Okay.
story.
Big Sam, I do meatheads with. That's his favorite.
Yeah, I
because
love
Batman's his favorite, and he said the exact same thing.
And I think Tim Sale's artwork is perfect for Batman.
It really
it's
is
perfect.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're right. It really is. You know, it's like have you read the Sean Murphy run?
I have not.
White Knight.
Yeah.
It's really good. I'm a huge Sean Murphy fan. Just his detail. Like, he has a page where Batman is sitting in his cave. It's a full page. Not a splash, but it didn't need to be. Mm-hmm. And I looked at it for 20 minutes.
Nice.
And I'm pointing out, I'm seeing Tim Burton stuff.
Oh, that's so
I'm
cool.
seeing, Joel Schumacher references. I'm seeing, Tim Sale stuff down here in the corner. And it's just like, it was like this fucking homage to everybody that's done Batman.
And Jim Lee, when him and Frank Miller did that, the 4 or 5 page spread of the Batcave.
Yes.
Like when
you folded it out.
Yeah.
Oh
when
my
that first came out,
God.
I was like, I did the same thing. Like 25 minutes just looking at everything.
How
I like
beautiful.
turned on Danny Elfman's music and just sat there and looked at it. just turned it on, started crying and looking through each page, analyzing it.
Is Jim Lee one of your favorites, you think?
He's definitely one of my favorite artists.
Is he?
Yeah, I loved his X-Men stuff a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, I liked that. But yeah, I think he draws Batman very well. Hush was probably my favorite thing he did.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Jim Lee is maybe one of my favorites ever. I don't. Maybe it was like he had the '90s X-Men where they had the 12 variant covers, and Jim Lee did like every one of them, and you put them all together and made this huge poster or whatever. Yeah. What's up, Johnny? What's up, buddy? John Lucas, who was actually in the chat earlier, is now in the building. So that's fucking Blazing Defender first right there. That's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, man. I do talk to comic creators on the show, and I'm a little disappointed. But it's true. Fuck it. I tell the truth on the show. And I'm a little disheartened. I'm so glad, like, you're a comic book reader still. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, because a lot of them aren't.
Well, and it's hard. I will say this, just to defend them a little bit.
Sure, absolutely.
It's so hard to consume more things when you're creating a ton. Because, like, you know, like I have a day job still, you know, and
Sure.
so, like, I do that, and then I'm married, and so,
Sure.
like, I have friends and family, and I have no time
Right, right.
to watch shows that I really want to watch and read comics that I really want to read. Like, I have a huge stack at home of comics that I will read, but I haven't gotten to them yet. And
yeah.
so it's just, you know, like, there are days where I'm just like, you know what, no, screw it. I'm going to sit down, I'm going to read.
Right,
I'm gonna,
right.
You know, pour a beer and read my comics.
Yes, yes.
And that's going to be my evening. But
Yeah,
that doesn't
yeah.
happen very often.
Right, yeah. Yeah, life gets in the way.
Yeah, and then
especially
there are
when
some
you're
people though,
creating.
that just don't care anymore. You know?
Right.
And that, for
They don't
me,
give a
like,
fuck.
I would say that, like, going back to, you know, just the advice, you
Yes,
know, to people that are
yes.
starting out, never stop consuming stuff, because that's a huge part of the creative process. If it's just you and your ideas, eventually it's probably going to suck.
Right.
Like, you're not, like, I don't think anybody is that good. You have to be inspired by something somewhere. And
Yeah.
go and check other people's stuff out. You know,
Right.
like, one of the coolest things about doing the Kickstarter right now is that I have been able to pay more attention, because my attention's already on Kickstarter, to other people doing Kickstarter campaigns, other graphic novels,
Sure.
other comic books, and I've been snatching that stuff up, man. Like, I've been introduced to some really cool indie creators that I will be following.
Oh, awesome.
So it's that's
Yeah.
been a great, you know, bonus to all
Yeah,
of this.
that was actually one of my questions that I had skipped. Was how you say motivated?
Oh, well,
Like, yeah.
That's one of them.
That's
yeah.
one of them.
Yeah,
He already did.
Yeah, take a break, you know, for a day or two, whenever you can, and just watch a movie.
Enjoy
Read a good book,
yeah.
read a good comic, and just let it, you know, just
Marinate
let
on
it.
it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Your word, you using words is a lot better than mine right now.
Hey, that's
So-
a fucking
Hey,
first
all right,
too.
yeah,
This
yeah.
is showing first. Yeah, no, that's, you know, because, like, you know, I have a good buddy that's a tattoo artist, and we talk about that all the time. And you were talking about your artwork, and we were talking about, like, tattoo artists that really popped up on the scene because they've been on some TV shows and they've gotten their asses kicked. And I'm like, dude, that guy's terrible. He was like, man, when that dude first came on the scene, everybody wanted that cat.
Yeah.
And I'm like, really? What happened? He goes, he started buying his own hype, and he stopped getting better.
Yeah.
And this
Like-
guy's been tattooing for over 20 years, and he still
man.
still is learning things.
Good
And
for
he's
him.
like, the day you stop learning, the day you stop getting better.
Yeah.
And it's like fucking anything, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
it's like Rocky 3. If you think about it, I mean,
Yes.
really, as you know,
Yes.
as cheesy as that may sound, it is. The man the hype got to his head, and he
did.
was like, "Oh, I am awesome," and then Clubber Lang beat the crap out of him.
exactly.
You know, and
because
so
there's always somebody better out
right.
there.
And I think that's another thing is be as humble as you possibly can be.
Yeah.
Like I know there's always going to be somebody better than I am.
Right.
And that's fine with me.
Right.
I have a story that I want to tell, and I'm going to tell it, and I know, like, you know, I can't tell it alone.
Right.
You know, like, I have a story editor that I bounce half my ideas off of,
Oh,
because
awesome.
I know there are some times when I'm like, this is great. He's like, yeah, it's
Yeah,
probably
no, it's
not,
not.
man. You probably shouldn't do that. And thankfully that hasn't happened a ton.
Sure.
But it has happened. It will happen. My wife is probably more so the person, because she's always like right there on the couch when I'm working. And
Right.
I'm like, what about this? And she's like, no.
Right, right.
Because she's great at encouraging me, but she's also great at telling me when stuff doesn't
Man,
work.
that person is fucking invaluable.
Yeah, and that if you don't have that person, you're
gonna be in trouble.
Yeah, yeah.
I've read, I mean, like, and I hate to say this too, but it's fucking true. Like, I had a guy on Twitter. It's like, hey man, I would really love you to read my book and review my book on your show. And I was like, you may not.
Yeah.
Like, you may not like that.
Right.
I was like, I haven't read your book. I'll read your book. You want to send me your book? I'll read your book.
Yeah.
And if it's, you know, because I'm not going to blast somebody like that.
Yeah,
Somebody at DC or something, I'll blast shit out of you because I'm buying your shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you're going to send me your book, I would love to review it on the air if it's going to help you.
Right.
If it's not going to help you, I'll give you my feedback. But I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it on the air. That's just not true.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I'm a fan, so I want to help people and I want to promote good stuff because I want these guys to want to buy it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
So, and I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, Memoirs of the Angel, man, it's fucking awesome, and it not be.
Right.
You know, you see what I'm saying? So, like, this guy sent me his book, and man, it was a revenge story. The dude wore a mask. He shot people with a gun.
Yeah.
And the artwork was okay. And you know, I sent a message back. I said, look, man, you know, how many people have you let read this? And he was like, 5 or 6. I'm like, yeah, you need more people to read this.
Yeah.
I said, and this may not be your final cut of it. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like,
yeah.
I love vigilante stories. We all do. But, like, make something like John Wick.
Yeah.
Like, they created a world. Yeah, it was a revenge story, but there was so much more than a revenge story. And that's why John Wick works. So give us something we haven't seen before. And I was like, you give me your final cut and you want me to review it, I'll review it, and how it goes.
Yeah, and that's kind of what, with Memoirs of Angel, like, because it does start, issue 1 introduces the main human character, and he is on a revenge story, right? He is on a revenge quest.
Right.
But that's not what the story's about.
Exactly.
That's just how you introduce his character.
Yeah.
And that really only lasts, like that story arc lasts the entire book, but that's not what it's about. Like, we introduce that, and then we put our focus on some spiritual characters, and like their stories all intertwined by issue. So like issue 1, 2, and 3 kind of act as like an anthology a little bit.
Okay, yeah,
and
yeah.
Issue 4, all of them come together, and that point on, it's like an ensemble cast that
Right.
just drives the story.
And then it sounds like it kind of takes a left turn.
A little bit, yeah. Into issue 1, you're like, what's happening now?
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And that's what you gotta have. Like in a movie, a TV show, a comic book, a novel. If I've already figured out the ending, this shit's gonna suck.
Yeah.
Because I'm not trying to figure it out, but I'm like, okay, what's the motivation of this person?
Yeah.
All right, why are they doing this? And I see what's going on. Now, I've done that before, and in the last 10 pages, hey, stupid, you were wrong.
Right.
And
yeah.
I was like, oh wow, that
I
was
love
so
when
fantastic.
that happens.
I love
when that
Love
happens.
it.
I love when the writer is so much smarter than me.
Yes, yes.
Like I love it, even if it's like super obvious the whole time, and I feel like an idiot at the end.
Right.
It's
I love
fine.
it.
I love it.
I love it.
Make me feel like an idiot.
Right. Well, that's what we were saying on those pages. Like,
Yeah.
holy shit. Oh my God. You know what I mean? Which is a little different because like we're thinking we know what this next page is going to be, but then when the story ends, it's like, nah, dude, left turn, Clyde, and you're like, oh my God, like those stories are the best, and it sounds like that's what Memoirs of the Angels does. If it's okay with you, I'd love to have you back on after I've read the first story arc, and we can discuss it a little more. I think that would be fucking fantastic.
That'd be great, man.
That'd
Absolutely,
be great.
Yeah.
But Brian, that's all I got. Is there anything else you wanna pitch or you wanna sell? Where can guys find you?
Right. Okay. So right now until July 29th, we are actually doing the Kickstarter. Through then, we'll post the link in the comments section, so you guys can.
It's already posted.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Debo's my producer on the live show. He always got my back, so
Nice.
he's already posted it.
Cool, man. So yeah, you can go there. That's that's really the chunk, the meat of where you can find all the good stuff right now. But there's also BrianRodman.com, where that has everything that I've done. There's a digital download of issue 1 as well. It's just $1.
Okay.
So if you kind of want to get, you're maybe interested in what the video shows, a little bit of the artwork. Go spend the buck on the digital issue of issue 1 and download it. And there's also a free download of the prologue. It's like 8 pages, so that kind of gives a little bit of a tone. So between those two things, you can really see if you really get an idea of what the series is, see if you like it or not.
Okay.
But yeah, those two places, and then of course Facebook and Instagram. Those are the two.
I googled Memoirs of an Angel and a ton of shit came up. So
What's funny is there is a Memoirs of an Angel book about a dog.
Yes.
Have you seen that?
I did see that.
And so I've accidentally tagged that in a couple of my posts before, because my phone will jump up real quick and I won't realize that I've pushed the wrong thing. And so later on, somebody will be like, "Why is this about a dog?" It's like, I thought this was angels and demons and horror stuff.
Right.
He's like, "It's a German Shepherd. What's wrong with you?" I was like, "Oh, my bad." I gotta go back and change it.
There's also I was seeing this anime thing.
Yeah, it's an anime video game. It's been around for a while.
Has it been around for a while?
But
Okay.
it's actually, it was funny when I put out the first issue. My friend Sarah, who loves the game, she was like, "Oh, this is great." She's like, "It's awesome that you guys have a name." And I was like, "Oh crap, somebody else has a name."
Oh shit!
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, it's not copyrighted." So
Right.
I'm really, really thankful for that.
Yeah.
But yeah. So.
Yeah, guys, go check the Kickstarter out. Like I said, he's got some great reward tiers, and and I've backed Kickstarters before, and they have really, really good reward tiers for a fraction of what a lot of reward tiers are. So go check that out. It's really going to help him out some. Don't forget, guys, podcastawards.com. I was nominated last year because of these guys. And if you go to the hobbies and games category and the People's Choice category, select the Blazing Fender Comic Report, hit save. That's all you have to do. It's done. And if you would, my boys at Botch, the D&D podcast, in the comedy section, hit them up too since you're on the page. That'd be fantastic. I'd love for Lightning to strike twice. And, guys were talking about, why didn't some of the network shows get into it? And they were a little upset that he didn't win last year. If I'm nominated, I did win. Because I don't give two shits about what some committee thinks about my show. Mm-hmm. The listeners are what put me on that ballot, and that's what means the most to me. So I give two shits whether I win the award or not. Now, I'm not saying that if we did win, the motherfucker wouldn't hang up behind me during my live show. It probably would. I'm just going to let you know that. But because I would be super proud of it. But you guys nominate me is all I really care about. Thank you so much for watching the show with me and Brian. Go check out Memoirs of an Angel. I'm super excited about it. I hope you are too. And we're going to do a part 2. Does that sound cool with you?
Absolutely, man.
All right, brother,
cool.
Thank you so much, man, for being on the show.
Appreciate it.
Guys, share this, like it, go to the Kickstarter, check him out. Let him know. Give him your feedback. I'm sure Brian would love to have that.
Let me know what you think, good or bad. Either
good
way
or bad.
is fine.
Yeah, it's the only way we get better, man.
Absolutely.
So thanks a lot, guys, for tuning in. Podcast Awards. Don't forget Patreon. Hey, patreon.com/Blazing Fender. Really appreciate your support there also. Guys, have a great, safe weekend. I'm going to, we were talking about stacks of comic books you're behind on. I haven't read anything from this week yet, but I'm still going to try to have the show tomorrow night. If it's only 3 books I'm reviewing, we'll talk about it, because there's some really good shit. Magic Order number 2.
Yeah.
There was something else I seen today. I was like, oh shit. So there's some really good books. So I really want to get to them. If we only do 3 or 4, that's all we do. But so hopefully around 7 p.m. tomorrow night as well. Okay, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate your support, guys. Have a great weekend. Peace.
See you guys.